What does it take for an entrepreneur to succeed?
You have to be willing to go and do the impossible things so that you can take care of your customers and most of all take care of your people in the company today so that there is a tomorrow. And there always are in any enterprise that starts from nothing, some very dark days, some very hard corners to make it around. And this is the point where there just has to be, you can't be making the decision every day, am I going to stick with this? You already made that decision. The only decisions to make are, how am I going to get around the corner on this and still be true to what our overall mission is?
Why an entrepreneur's mission matters.
If I knew everything then that I know now, I'm not sure I would have done it. But you think I had a very good career, had a very young family, moved 1,000 miles away to a town where we knew no one to start an enterprise that had zero prospects on the day that we started it. I mean, sane people don't do that. The thing is, there was the end in mind, there was the mission. You know, we talk here about, data for life. And we remind each other that what we do here matters a lot. I mean, we participated in curing, otherwise devastating diseases, fatal diseases. And so there has to be that driving principle which says this is going to be worth it to walk through the concrete walls you have to walk through to start something from nothing, and then get it to a point where maybe someday it can achieve global relevance.
Why would an entrepreneur want a partner?
I think it's true insanity, It's like a financial advisor would say, don't do it. Keep the good job. Go get a real job. Don't be doing this crazy thing. But you need both. Like my partner, Jim Wilford, is really, really good at keeping me straight and honest and between the rails here on not trying to do everything at one time. As the company scales, that becomes more and more important. The entrepreneur is the one who's going to go and try to do something that's impossible or maybe not even advisable. And then at some point, you'd better get a little bit better controls around that and all. And in part, working with Stefanini, that's where we've kind of been growing up and putting some more structure and stability around what still is, I think, a very entrepreneurial enterprise. And that's the way we want it to be for a long time.
What does it mean to be a co-entrepreneur?
We hire an advisor or, the business partner such as Stefanini is. To me, our job in the company is to identify someone or group of people who know more about, in this case, information systems, information technology, than any of us do. So we went to Stefanini and they immediately grasped the concept that I had in mind, which is your job is to know more about how to get the things done that meet our strategic objectives than we do. We want, in a perfect world, that you would have always seen and always know what is out there that can help us implement best practices. For example, for putting applications that are highly regulated in the cloud in a way that allows us to run a multi-site organization on an advantaged basis, even, and benchmarked against the largest, most successful companies in the world. And so Stefanini hits the mark on that measure better than any other service provider that we engage or that I've ever been familiar with.
The unique responsibility of entrepreneurs.
There's a story from Steve Jobs' biography when he supposedly used this story when he was meeting with his executives. The way the story goes is that Steve was notoriously difficult to work with, it seems. And it turns out his office wasn't getting cleaned properly at some point. He's not the most patient individual, so he brought the custodian in and just was excoriating the poor guy. And the guy was just standing there completely dispassionate, and Steve was "Oh, what's wrong with you? Don't you care about your job?" And the guy says, "Yeah, I do care about my job, but there's nothing I can do about this." And Steve's just going off, and he's like, "Well, what's wrong with you then?" He said, "Well, they changed the key card, the key code on the door, and my card won't get me into your office anymore, so I can't take the garbage out, It's like, yeah, I want this job, I need this job, but I can't do anything about it." And so even Steve, being Steve, he still had to admit, okay, that's a good reason. But then when he was meeting with his executives on whatever the business imperative was of the day, he would use that story and he would say, when you're the custodian and you've been locked out of my office and can't clean my office, the reason matters, okay? But when you're an executive or an entrepreneur trying to do this thing, that is darn near impossible, the reason you didn't deliver doesn't matter, okay? It's your job to go find a way around the corner. And that, to me, is what resonates, in what I call walking through concrete walls. You have to find a way forward. And Stefanini has helped us, to do that in a way that is building competitive advantage.